Okay. My name is Arlene Myro, and I am the Vice Chair of the Camarillo Council on Aging. And the Council on Aging has put together this presentation, this panel presentation on transportation for you. This is the second one we're doing because it appears that this is a great need in the city. Every time a survey comes or does, we have the same high need, high priority, and it seems transportation comes up as number one. So we're doing this again. Now, I don't know if you've heard on the Camarillo Council on Aging. How many of you have heard of it? Heard of it. Well, our purpose in the council is to identify the needs of senior citizens of our local community and act as an intermediary among senior citizens and the city council and other organizations and agencies serving seniors. So we report directly to the city council. We do meet once a month with issues. And they're open meetings, and everybody is more than welcome to come. Before I start, or the panel starts, I'd like to thank Jay. I'd like to thank you for putting this together. He has gotten the wonderful presenters, and he's done the publicity, and all I'm doing is just doing the moderating, and he's doing all the work. So that's how it should be, right, ladies? I do have a question. We advertised a little bit in the city scene. Did you see this advertisement? Oh, good. Good. So you did read it. How many saw our advertisement in the Acorn? Oh, good. How many of you know about this is our great deal, our Camarillo Resource Center? This is what the Council on Aging put together. And this has all the different kinds of agencies that you can see. They're free, they're out there. We update these every 2 years. So this is our new one, and we'll be updating it again next year, 18, for 19 and 21, I guess. So what we're going to do with the panel today is I'm going to introduce the panel. Each will speak about 12 to 15 minutes on their particular subject. At the end of all the presentations, we're going to have questions from the audience. So we won't take questions after each presenter, but at the whole end, because sometimes the other presenters have the information that you might want to hear. And how we'll do that is Jay and I will carry this microphone around so you can speak directly. Okay? We have 4 presenters. We have Tyler Nesvid from the city. We have Chris Hernandez from Mobility Management Partners, and you'll see each one has a different focus. Martin Erickson, Public Transportation of VC Transportation, and we have Jason Sager, and he's from the VC Area Agency on Aging. It's another organization for seniors. So, with that in mind, let's start with the presentation by Tyler.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Tyler, and I work for the City of Camarillo, and we provide transit services with Camarillo Area Transit, or we call it the CAT for short. The city contracts these services out to Roadrunner Shuttle, and I manage that contract. The types of services we provide are fixed route transportation and demand response transportation, which is dial-a-ride services. The 2 fixed route options in the brochures that hopefully you guys picked up outside, the first one is our fixed route schedule. And the fixed route schedule shows the map of where the service runs, And this is a regular bus system where it runs on a time loop, and it just goes through the loop over and over again. And it primarily focuses on our medical district and shopping centers and the essentials of what you need on a day-to-day basis.
Tyler,
Yeah.
can you get closer to the microphone?
I'm sorry. Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Good.
Thank you.
The schedule shows the route that we have highlighted, and then the timetable inside the pamphlet shows what time it'll arrive at each stop. It's very straightforward. It has the number to dispatch. If you have trouble reading it or you don't understand it, you can always call our dispatch on the number provided in the front, and they can go over it with you and help you understand where the stop is, and help you better understand how to use the service. The second option we have for fixed route transportation is our trolley. And our trolley runs a different loop, and we have a separate brochure for that. That brochure runs in Old Town on the north and south side of the freeway. It goes from Metrolink to the Target Center, back and forth, so up and down Ventura Boulevard and up and down Daily Drive. That brochure looks very similar. It has a map on the inside that shows you where the stops are. It has a timetable, but it's not quite in a table description. It's a much smaller route, so it's just listed on the inside of the pamphlet. And then the same thing, if you have trouble understanding it, our number is provided inside, and you can call the dispatch, and they could work with you so you could understand where the stop is. At every stop location, we have a bench and sign that indicates that the trolley stops here or the fixed route stops here, and you could wait for the bus there. So with the fixed route schedule, this one runs on the inside of the pamphlet. You can see the date and times. It runs from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. It doesn't run on the weekends, though, so it doesn't run on Saturday or Sunday, but Monday through Friday is when we get our primary ridership for it, and it runs 8 to 4:30. For the weekends, when you don't have that service, the trolley does run 7 days a week. I'm sorry. The trolley runs 7 days a week, and it runs at extended hours. It runs 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday it runs late, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. But if these services can't get you where you need to go, we have the demand response service, or Dial-A-Ride. And Dial-A-Ride is kind of like a taxi service, but it's a shared taxi service. So you can run, you schedule a reservation, you call us up in advance, schedule a reservation, and then we come to your home, pick you up, and take you to where you need to go within the city limits. And that's our general purpose Dial-A-Ride, and anyone can use that for any purpose. For seniors and ADA, we offer extended service to other places outside of city limits. If you'd like to go to the East County, we can take you anywhere in the East County you want directly. So we'll pick you up and we'll take you to the East County. If you'd like to go to the West County, we can do that as well, but we have to do a transfer, where you transfer to another service, Gold Coast Service District, and that's their service area, and then they'll finish the ride. But we take you directly to the transfer point, and we wait with you, and then they pick you up and take you to your destination. And then they pick you up and bring you back to the transfer point and come here. So the West Coast, or the West County cities are Oxnard, Ventura, Ojai. So our service for demand response is for seniors and ADA cardholders. And we define senior as 55 and older, except for to the West County. The West County at 65. And that's because Gold Coast Service District defines it as 65. And since we make the transfer, we have to meet their service requirement. For these shared rides in the demand response service, we have a pickup window. So when you make your reservation, let's say you make your reservation for 10 o'clock. Your pickup window is 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after. So our vehicle will arrive anywhere between 9:50 and 10:10. And when it arrives, it'll only wait for 5 minutes. So you have to be part of this service is that you can be ready for the service, and then we take you directly to it. But part of that is also we subsidize it, so it only costs seniors and ADAs $1.50 each way for the general purpose in city limits. The regional service costs a little more because we're going further, and that's $5 each way to the East County. To the West County, it gets a little complicated, and I'm sorry, but this information is all available in the brochure. The West County, it's $1.50 going to the West County, and then $3.50 returning. And again, that's due to the transfer with Gold Coast. So their service price is $3.50, and our service price is $1.50. The times for Dial-A-Ride and days of service are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday we run 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday we run 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So anywhere you want to go as a senior or ADA cardholder in the county, we can get you there during those times. One of the important notes about Dial-A-Ride is that you also need to have exact change. We don't do change when you ride Dial-A-Ride services. And that's because, again, with the subsidized fares, it's important that both parties contribute to some of the responsibilities. And it's hard to manage that without certain fundings. So our funding limits what we can do, and we need exact change for that. If you need special assistance and you have a caregiver, they can ride free with you. Eating, drinking, and smoking are not permitted on the bus, but you can use it to go shopping. So you can bring food on, but you're not allowed to open the food and eat on the bus. And that's really the general form of Dial-A-Ride in summary. So really I'd like to answer direct questions for you, but at the end. So that concludes my presentation. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tyler.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Chris Hernandez, and he's a travel instructor, Mobility Management Partners. Chris?
Okay, thank you very much, Arlene. Thank you, Jay, for having us here today and inviting us. And thank you to the Council on Aging for having us today. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Okay, like I said, my name is Chris Hernandez. I am the travel instructor for Mobility Management Partners, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail of what exactly we do. So what we do exactly, we have a couple of ways that we contribute to the community. We have our community outreach, which I'll go into a little bit more detail in a slide a little bit later. The travel training, which is a program that services that we use to teach you how to use the bus and whatnot. I'll go a little bit more in detail on that. Our mileage reimbursement, and finally our ADA eligibility certification services. So what is our community outreach? What exactly does that mean? Well, our community outreach, we do try to attend services like health and wellness expos, seniors health fairs, college career resource fairs, which we do go into the communities, each community college that's around here, and we do a transitional with them as well. So it's for students who are going into the college or are around the college and just need a little bit more resource. We also do something called the Taking It to the Teachers, which we partnership with the Ventura County Office of Education, and we actually go out into that and speak to parents who have children who are transitioning over, as well as the Agency 101, which is also a partnership with the Ventura County Office of Education, and that is more for agencies that are around in Ventura County. And then lastly, our panel presentation, which would be kind of like this. We actually do participate in these. So what is travel training? What exactly do I do? So a travel training is actually, I will be the person that will be coming out to see you. This is a completely free program. The only time you have to pay anything is on the bus, which we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail when we meet. But I will show you how to travel from your home to your destination and back home. So I will not leave you abandoned or anything like that. I'll make sure I'll get you safely home. Also, we will talk about the different fares and the different discounts that are available for each transit system that's available here in Ventura County. Lastly, I'll also teach you how to use the different tools on how to plan your trip. I don't know if anybody uses cell phones, but there is apps that I will go into detail about, and also how to use their websites. So we have two options for the travel training program. The first one is an individual one-on-one training. This is a training that I will focus with you and just go into detail about what I mentioned before, the fares, the planning your service, planning your trip. And I will make sure that this is a customized plan to you, your specific needs. So we'll talk about a little bit about that. We'll also talk about how to transfer to the various transit systems around here, which would be, for example, the VCTC. So this is a great program that we use. This is our one-on-one. But for those that may not feel comfortable doing one-on-one, we do offer group travel training. Now, this is a great resource because now you could bring a friend along with you. If you want to go together to a destination, you can plan the trip and I'll go along with you to help you out. So this is great. Another great thing that we are going to be starting, I'm very excited about this, is our Explore Your City Transit classes. I do have information about this, and it's out in the foyer. So if you want to pick that up, we can go ahead and do that. But what that is a two-part class. The first part will be a classroom setting, which I'll go into detail about how to plan your route, what systems you need to be using, and the fares that you're going to be paying. So it's a little bit more. We try to do 5 to 6 people on that group travel training, or excuse me, the Explore Your City. So, so that way it's a little bit more comfortable for everybody, and I can pay the attention to each request. The other part that would be is we actually take the city bus. We'll try to make a trip that will plan a trip to go onto the city bus and take you your way and show you that. Our next program, this is a mileage reimbursement program. This is a great program. It is a free program for Ventura County residents who are 65 and older and are no longer driving. This is a great program because this is it helps you get around with help of family and friends that I'll go into detail a little bit more. But this is a rider-centered program. What that means is that you would have to be able to find your own drivers to get you to this destination. So what are the benefits of it? Well, there's quite a few benefits that you can get from the mileage reimbursement program. The first one is this provides individuals for another mobility option that you can use to get around. Another big opportunity is an ability to reimburse your drivers for their help. I know that friends and families have a very busy schedule, but this is a way to say thank you so much for helping me out. And we'll go in. If you have any questions about that, we can talk afterwards. I'll give you a little bit more information. We also help you promote opportunities for social interactions, which meaning, for example, some of our riders do go out into beauty parlors and social events and whatnot. So that's a great one. And also, if you are a big community advocate, this is a way to stay plugged into your community around you. Our last program here is our our last service is our ADA eligibility services. So what does ADA stand for? Well, ADA stands for the Americans with Disabilities Act. That was actually enacted in 1990, which requires all individuals in the community to have equal access to public services, including transportation. Also, this is the way that the eligibility works, it's based on one's ability to use public transportation. And again, any of these questions I will go ahead and answer at the end of the presentation, or if you like, I can meet outside with you and speak with you. If you have any questions or want a little bit more information about what we do, this is our contact information. There's 2 ways you can contact us. Our phone number is that 888-667-7003, or you can reach us by email at info@mobilitymp.org. Thank you so much, and
Thank you, Chris. Martin Erickson, from the Public Transportation Director for VC Transportation Commission.
Thank you. I want to thank Arlene and Jay and the Council on Aging for convening this I call symposium, or this group on transportation. It's a pleasure to work with Jay also at some other recent forums. It's a very topical issue to talk about transportation, particularly public transportation, and in general just how one gets around from one place to another. Again, I'm Martin Erickson. I'm with VCTC. Probably going to hear a lot of acronyms today. I used to joke that if you get in this business, you need a master's degree in acronyms first before you can have any idea what's happening. But in transportation, it's kind of true. So we are the Transportation Commission for Ventura County, and we actually meet monthly here in these council chambers. So we appreciate the City of Camarillo hosting us for that. And VCTC is an agency that has 17 board members. So there's a member from every city in Ventura County, all the 10 cities, as well as the 5 county supervisors, and then 2 public members, one appointed by the cities and one appointed by the Board of Supervisors. So it's a pretty big group, and they are the governing board for really the flow of transportation money and also public transportation money, but money for roads and bridges and streets also. Most of that flows through VCTC. But today, I want to talk about VCTC intercity transit services in particular. Out on the table out there, you'll find brochures from the main transit routes that VCTC operates throughout the county. But we also work with each of the individual cities very closely, with their transportation, with Camarillo, with Oxnard, with all the cities in the county. There we go. So as far as the VCTC intercity services, they're really comprised of five main services throughout the county: the Highway 101 Conejo connection. So that's a service that actually touches into LA County, or kind of inter-county. The East County service, CSUCI, the Channel Islands service, the Coastal Express, which is another inter-county service connecting Ventura County to Santa Barbara County. That's actually our highest ridership route. A lot of people that live in Ventura or Oxnard, or actually in Camarillo, and sometimes as far as the East County, will take that service for jobs up in Santa Barbara County. A lot of, as many of you know, that's a pretty high traffic corridor, and people prefer sometimes to be able to just take a comfortable bus and do some work on their laptop or relax a little bit. I find it a lot more peaceful than driving when I get that option. And then finally, the Highway 126, or the service that connects Ventura, Santa Paula, Fillmore, all the way out to Piru. So again, I have brochures out there. I'll be here after the meeting to answer any more specific questions. We also have some shopping bags and some water bottles that have the VCTC logo on them, and you're welcome to take those also. It might be hard to see this map a little bit, but I wanted to show this to just kind of give an overall perspective of Ventura County and the different transit operators that traverse throughout Ventura County. So Ventura County is, as you probably know, is about 830,000 people, 10 cities. You've got, but it's a pretty big county in terms of overall population. I'm from Santa Barbara originally, from Santa Barbara County. It's about half the size really. It's about a little over 400,000 people there. Interestingly, some of you might know Ventura County actually used to be part of Santa Barbara County in the 19th century, and then it broke off and become its own county in the later part of the 19th century. I think it was 1875 or so. But now, obviously, it's a larger county. It also borders LA County, which, and all the southern counties to the south of there, the millions and millions of people that live there. But Ventura County, in terms of transportation funding, is part of something called an MPO, last acronym, I promise, Metropolitan Planning Organization, and those are designated all around the country, and it's kind of like the funding conduit that the federal funding flows through. So we're part of an MPO called SCAG, or the Southern California Association of Governments, which includes LA County, Orange County, San Bernardino County. The total population of SCAG is about 25 million people, give or take. So we're definitely the smallest county in that part. So it's kind of a question of whenever you drive south, you realize that there's a lot more people living in our neighboring county to the south. But then Santa Barbara County in the north, again, half our size, about 430,000 people. But if you look at the different bus routes, you can see the dark blue line is the VCTC Intercity. And again, you can see the route on the top, our 126 route that connects all the way out to Fillmore. The route on the bottom really follows the 101. That's the route that will actually go, the Caneo Express will actually take you into LA County. We had to do a little inset for the route heading north, the Coastal Express, that heads to Santa Barbara. So the intercity services have been running for over 20 years. They've changed a bit, but it really serves as the main kind of interconnecting transit route throughout Ventura County. If you kind of divide the east and west county in general, as Tyler noted in some of his comments, Gold Coast, the light blue kind of aqua colored line there, you can see there's a lot of lines in there basically connecting Oxnard and Camarillo and all the way up to Ojai. That's kind of the Gold Coast Transit District on that side. And then there are a number of municipal city operators. City of Camarillo, you heard about what services Tyler offers. Ojai, Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley, Moore Park. And then there's also a service called the Heritage Valley Transit Service, a separate transit service that operates both fixed route and demand response in the cities of Fillmore, Santa Paula, and connects to Piru. So just wanted to give you an overall sense of what the transit options are, in Ventura County. And again, that should hopefully help if you take some of those maps that we have out and our timetables out front. Always can go to our website, which is very helpful, www.goventura.org. And I'll say that a couple times because I've done a lot of presentations this week, and I realize I didn't put it in the presentation, so I'm going to mention that. But it is on all the literature we have out there, and you can take a look at that. Again, another context slide. I feel like when you talk about public transit, I think it's important to talk about some of the other driving factors. In this case, population changes. One of the things VCTC does also is really looks at some of the county-wide data, whether it's transportation patterns, population growth, trends in automobile travel, number of automobiles on the road, number of buildings being developed. And we're just completing a 5-year update of a plan called the Coordinated Plan for short, that really takes a look at not just the transit services in Ventura County, but also how they relate to the human service agencies and what are some of the gaps or missing links in the county. And part of that is really looking at some of the changes. So in the period from 2000 to 2014, population has increased by 11%, so it's a fair, maybe not a huge amount of growth, but a fair amount of growth. And some of the greatest increases in that come from low-income adults, 32.7%, and seniors, almost 40% growth in seniors over that time. So probably not news to a lot of you, but that's a real focus, is finding what are the best solutions in providing seniors mobility, not only in their own communities, but also throughout the community and beyond, in a way. Then, on the other side, we're looking at future projections, growth from 2010 to 2040. And over that time period is projected to grow by about 17% county growth. Again, that's dependent. These are projections. But interestingly, cities of Fillmore, only about 15,000 people, and Santa Paula, another smaller city, those are both projected to grow at higher rates. And I listed all the expected or estimated growth rates for the city, just so you could see that. For Camarillo, over that time period, up to 2040, it's expected to grow by 22%. So it's around 65,000, I think, right now, and that's going to be And so those are the type of things we try to look at, too, in terms of not only the regional transit planning, but also in the coordination of the planning. What can we do with the limited resources? And I say limited because I think, as you know, public transportation, like many other public services, the funding in some cases is uncertain. It's changing. It's probably certainly less than we need, but having good data and looking at it and making sure that we make the best choices helps us make choices with the limited resources we do have so that they can serve the residents and the public in the most effective way. So these two subset maps just, again, give a little overview of the fixed route transit operations and also the dial-a-ride demand response services throughout the county. So in the whole county, we've got 9 systems, 9 public transit systems that operate. VCTC Intercity, Gold Coast Regional Fixed Route Transit, the Gold Coast, Tyler mentioned that. The Heritage Valley Service, again, that's Fillmore, Santa Paula, and Piru. The Canaan Shuttle, an East County service that the county of Ventura runs. And then, of course, the municipal operators, Ojai, Camarillo, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, and Simi Valley, as well as Metrolink, which is another. Any of you ever taken Metrolink, the train that connects? So that Ventura County is a member of Metrolink. That's a joint powers agency that includes Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Orange County, and Riverside. And VCTC has been part of that regional rail system for Southern California since 1991. And I take it whenever I can. I take it to Burbank. If I have to fly out of Burbank, it's nice because it stops right next to the station, and you can go from there. Unfortunately, it doesn't run right into LAX. You probably know that if you've ever tried to take the train to LAX, you still have to transfer, so it can be a little tricky. On the dial-a-ride or demand response side, there's 7 systems, 2 less than 9, but and those are the regional ADA from that Gold Coast Transit runs, Valley Express dial-a-ride, the municipal dial-a-rides, Tyler mentioned, Camarillo, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, Simi Valley, and then ECTA, which is the East County Transit Association. In the East County, that's basically an agreement among the operators there to move individuals around between the cities. So you look at that, and there's a lot of different systems, and in some ways, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of over the last 5 to 8 years. Would it make more sense to have one system? Would it make more sense to have 2 systems? There's a lot of good debate and discussion that'll continue there. A lot of it's driven by the existing resources that we have. But one of the things that we've really been focused on at VCTC is taking a look at what we have and just trying to improve and make that better. And sometimes that really involves getting feedback, being open to the feedback, and being open to make changes to that when necessary. Just some other kind of data set of interesting, I think, statistics. Interesting to me, I hope somewhat interesting to you. But when you look at the East and West County in terms of transit usage, there's some differences. Of total county-wide, we count in the public transit field, we count the number of uses as trips. So there's annually in 2015-16, there were just over 6 million trips throughout Ventura County. In terms of per capita usage, that translated about 10 trips per capita in the West County and 2.9 trips per capita in the East County. So part of that's not too hard to understand if you look at the differences. East County, much more suburban. You have much more spread out cities. The West County has older, in some cases more dense cities. The older cities of the county, Ventura and Oxnard, tend to have pockets of higher density and transit systems that have been around longer. Many of the cities in East County are very new cities. I mean, they were built certainly after World War II, and their patterns of development don't necessarily relate to high transit usage in some cases. And with that, I want to leave plenty of time for questions, so I'm just going to have the regional map up again, just for perspective. If you have any other questions too, it's on all of our literature, but we have a county-wide regional transit information center that you can call. It's open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you need any trip planning, if you want to take a trip from Camarillo to Oxnard, if you want to take a trip on the Metrolink, if you want to connect with something, and that phone number is 1-800-438-1112. And again, that's printed on all the material I have out there. Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you, Martin. I know I'm going to have some questions. Next, we have Jason Sager. He's the Transportation Coordinator for Ventura County Area Agency on Aging.
Good morning. Excuse me. All right. So bringing up the rear here. Hopefully we can I can get through this. And I would welcome tons of questions for my presentation. Good morning. My name is Jason Sager. I'm the Transportation Coordinator with Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. Hopefully you've heard of us. If not, there you are. We have a variety of different programs to help seniors, to assist seniors and help with quality of life and to maintain their independence, keep them in their homes, and just make sure that they are able to continue to be a part of the community. And so one of the programs that I wanted to talk to you about today that we offer is our Elder Help Program, transportation service. And with this, what we wanted to do is basically help with funding seniors and those with disabilities with transportation. And one of the ways that we do that is we provide bus tickets and we provide dial-a-ride service tickets on a monthly basis, free of cost. Another thing that we provide is Medi-Ride service. So with the bus tickets and dial-a-ride service, I think that's self-explanatory. The dial-a-ride service is a curb-to-curb service, which actually Camarillo Area Transit does have their own dial-a-ride service, and that helps people get from where point A to point B within Camarillo and outside of Camarillo. So we provide those tickets just to accommodate that. But we also have a Medi-Ride service for those seeking medical transportation outside of their own city limits. Obviously, if, say for example, that you had a doctor's appointment, but it was in UCLA, or it was in Kaiser, in Woodland Hills. If you were to take the regular public transit, it would be a nightmare, I would suspect. It would take you hours, and maybe you wouldn't get there on time. So that's one of the reasons why we provide the Medi-Ride service. We target this to seniors, 60 plus, and also those with low income that can't afford to get around. Those maybe that they're living alone. Those that they don't have the help of their friends and family. So we just want to provide a service, to make sure that those individuals will be able to get around. The way that we're able to fund this and be able to afford all these trips is we have a lot. We're actually fully funded with federal funds from the Title III-B Older Americans Act. We're also receive funds from VCTC, and we also accept private donations from people such as yourselves. And with all that, with all those funds, we're able to operate the Elder Help Program. on top of the transportation, we also provide chore support, personal service, and personal care and homemaker services. So that's just the general scope of the entire Elder Help program. So the way that you receive transportation through the Area Agency on Aging is you'll call us at our hotline, and we have a number that I'll provide for you. And these are the dial-a-ride and the bus service passes that we offer. With the fixed route tickets, you can see that we provide the VCTC single route tickets. And with those tickets, you can actually get on the VCTC buses that Martin was describing. But they also actually are honored on the Gold Coast transit buses, and those operate through Port Hueneme, Oxnard, Ventura, and Ojai. They're also honored in Simi Valley and the Thousand Oaks buses. We also offer VCTC's Zone 2 buses, and those are the ones that connect you from Santa Barbara and the LA counties. And so we offer both of those tickets. When you send in, or when we get your referral for tickets, we generally, due to our funding, we're a small agency. We'd like to expand and grow along with the population that's also growing. So due to funding, sometimes we have to put in caps. And right now we offer 20 tickets per month. So if you call in, you can get 20 dial-a-ride tickets, you can get 20 VCTC tickets, whichever that you need. We also, in our dial-a-ride service, we do offer the Camarillo Area Transit dial-a-ride tickets. And as Tyler was saying, those actually connect you with Oxnard and to the East County. On top of that, we also offer the East County tickets. Those are the ones that cost the $5. They are more expensive. We're not able to, we actually limit those to 10 tickets per month just due to the cost. So those are if you can take the bus or if you can take dial-a-ride service. If you need more help or if you need to go further, we have our Medi-Ride Transportation. And so with the Medi-Rides, our goal was to provide free rides to any medical appointments that you had, and if you're unable to use the dial-a-ride service. So like I said, if you needed to go to UCLA or Kaiser, which are two of the popular destinations, we can provide the Medi-Ride service. It is very cost prohibitive. It's expensive for our agency, so we have to limit it to 2 rides per month. But we feel like those 2 rides are a tremendous benefit to those that need it. We have partnerships with Road Shuttle and A to B Transportation. And we're really excited about this. We have a new partnership with Uber, and we're going to try to, we're going to be starting this month, actually, we're going to start incorporating Uber into our Medi-Ride services, getting seniors to the places that they need to go. We actually have Amber Walker here. If you had any more questions about the Uber service, here to take your questions. She's our Ventura County regional Uber representative. So with our agency and the Uber partnership, they rolled out a new program because Uber used to be just for your phone and used to be personalized. And the only way to use Uber is if you had a cell phone and you had a Uber account. But with Uber Central, that was just, it's in beta right now, and Area Agency on Aging is a pilot agency to test out this new product. We can centrally manage and request rides for our clients. And so this will be a real benefit, and we're excited to use it. And the main focus for us in our agency is that it's going to save us money. And with that, by saving us money, For instance, I'd like to say that right now we can fund about 360 Medi-Rides per year. And, we'd like to do more. And with Uber, the cost is cut significantly per ride, so that translates into more rides that we're able to provide. And so what we'll be able to do is request multiple rides. We'll be able to track their status, the ride status. We'll be able to know when the ride is going to be able to pick you up, when you're on your way, and all that. Another thing is we'll just be able to track and be able to. It's just a simple way and another option that we can use to provide transportation free of cost to our clients. All right. And so with that said, how do you do this? How do you get on board with this? Well, to get on board, all you have to do is call us. And I have the number provided on the pamphlet outside. It's our main line, and it connects you with our information and assistance hotline. And our folks there are very knowledgeable. Not only will they get you set up with transportation, they'll connect you with all our other programs at VC AAA, whether it be the multi-services program, our health insurance information, taxes. We provide a variety of services. But in regards to transportation, they'll take your information, they'll do a screening, make sure that you're eligible, and with that, then we can get you your dial-a-ride tickets, or if you have a medical appointment that you need to go to, we can get you set up with that. And so I have all the information right here. The number, 477-7300. You can also email us at elder.help@ventura.org. And you can also find a lot more information on our website. And I have that all up there. And so with that said, we can take all of your questions.
Thank you, gentlemen. My goodness, there is so much out there for seniors, but it's overwhelming. But I was amazed at the figure you gave, Martin, that there was an increase of almost 40% in seniors over the last 10 years or whatever your statistic was. And my question then is, going to the future for all of you, how do you think transportation is going to change if that number continues to go up? Because we know we are almost a county of retirees and people over 65. How do you envision your programs to change, if so? Anybody?
I know we look at statistics of our ridership for Camry Area Transit, and we monitor them and we project what the next coming years will have as far as how many riderships and where they're going, and appropriately budget for newer vehicles to keep up with that growth. So as the demand for services grows, we try and stay ahead of the curve to keep our fleet at an adequate size to serve that need.
So that's a great question. Probably could be a whole, forum in its own right to talk about. But I think we're at a point, with transportation and public transportation where you have a confluence of a lot of things coming together. There's, the TNCs or another acronym, the transportation network companies, or Uber and Lyft and other things that's happening. That's the ability now to use your phone or your PDA device to be able to literally program a trip to come to your door. But when you look at the growth in the seniors particularly, I worked for the city of Oxnard for almost 13 years, and I think there's still going to be an important role for the demand response type service, whether it's a van or a smaller vehicle, but an accessible vehicle. The requirements of the ADA are not likely going to go away. Well, I think they're just finding different ways to meet those requirements, which I think all of us, certainly want to continue, and you want to see that go forward. But things like increased travel training, MMP, the work they're doing throughout, and one of the things in Oxnard that was really great to see is you had people that were previously using a demand response service to come right to their home to pick them up day after day, and through training they were able to learn how to use a regular fixed route bus, which in many cases was more convenient for them, allowed them to be ambulatory out in the community, moving around. And initially, a lot of the focus was, well, it's less expensive to do that, so let's just try to do that. But actually, in some cases, the seniors actually preferred that type of service because it allowed them to have more flexibility and engage in a regular running transit service. So I think it's going to be a combination of things, and it's going to depend on the community and what the community priorities are of, just in Ventura County, we have some very unique and different communities, but the technology, kind of the intersection of the technological changes along with the delivery systems are, 5 or 10 years from now, probably going to make things are going to look quite a bit different, and hopefully, and I think that'll be the case, you'll have more service options. But there still is a cost side too. I think some people think, well, with these things happening, it's just we can do all this stuff with so much less money. In some cases, true, there probably are some efficiencies to be realized, but I don't think it's going to be a situation where someone could say, well, we don't have to really make this a priority anymore with funding because this is going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Long answer, but.
All right. I know we all can't have driverless cars, so that was my question, Here.
Thank you. I just returned from living outside the country for a while, and so I found some really beautiful things about public transportation and small community living. And one of the things that strikes me in coming home is that we are also looking at a footprint, an environmental footprint about all of this traffic and so on. And it seems like it might behoove all of the services, all of the funding for them, and all of the people if even this senior transportation issue was put into the public with training, etc., on how this is a better option, how public transportation is a benefit, not a demeaning, you lost your privileges, you're not independent, you're not capable anymore sort of thing, would really make a huge difference, I think, in how people see public transportation and therefore how they use it and how they contribute to it and how they are responsible for it. I just had to add that. I've got something for everybody.
Oh, okay.
If it's time for that.
Sure. We'll give you one question.
Okay.
And then anybody else, then we'll come back to you for another question. How about that? So we're equal opportunity.
Okay, so Tyler.
How can I help you?
Thank you. I fell in love with a walking community and using public transportation to go to the larger areas and so on. So I am bound and determined not to get back into a car. I am going to stay afoot.
Good.
And with public transportation. So I am noticing that there is little to no connection between the two fixed routes. And for me, getting around Camarillo only, that's a problem. Already, I walk a mile from my house to the very closest fixed route option to me, which is here.
Okay.
Then I can get around town if I don't want to go up to the Heights.
I understand. Part of the issue with that is there is one transfer at the 99-cent store where the trolley and the fixed route both go. So you can, it's difficult, and I understand that. And part of that is ridership. So if we were to have a route that goes to the Heights, how much ridership would we get for that route?
I'm not looking for a ride to the Heights. I'm just saying that when I planned my trip today for,
Yes.
for here, for a doctor's appointment on the boulevard in the middle of the day, and for a dinner appointment just off of Las Posas Road a little later.
Yeah,
I had no options. Dial a ride, cannot accept any rides today. They're booked full, have nothing available. And the two buses don't serve anything I need after 2 o'clock.
I understand the complaint.
I'm just
Yeah.
bringing that up. The connections between the two fixed routes and Dial a Ride needs to increase their service.
Okay. To address that, our service for fixed route is costly. So it's about $250,000 to run a bus on a fixed route for a year. So we prefer sometimes if you're not adjacent to the fixed route and you're too far away, but if you're in the Heights, as an example, just as an example, if you're in the Heights and it's difficult for you to get to a fixed route service, that's why we offer the Dial-A-Ride service. Because we recognize that you need public transit, that's important, and it's cheaper for us to offer a Dial-A-Ride service in that case instead of spending $250,000 for routes that get very, very low ridership. So Dial-A-Ride is kind of our solution for that problem. And it's cost effective for us. Now, needing same-day reservations, is very difficult right now, and you can't do that. We try to do our best to negotiate times for same day. We will offer them if we can, but it's important to call in a day or two in advance, which is also difficult, and we understand that. But part of that is the shared ride service. We need to plan ahead for that and, get the route for that each rider who they're going to pick up and drop off as they do it each day. That usually gets planned the night before, which is why adjusting it during the day is very difficult in the system.
And when I called yesterday morning, I was told there's no rides available today.
And understandably, we recommend 2 days. 1 day is difficult. This particular week has been very arduous for us because our entire system crashed over the weekend. Yeah, and that's not necessarily an excuse, but it's not typical. It's not a typical experience using Dial-A-Ride. And most of the time, we're able to accommodate even same day with negotiating the time. We might not be able to get you exactly at 3 o'clock, but within an hour or two, we can accommodate that ride. And we have a very high success rate at that. So it's an unfortunate example, but it's not our typical situation. And I would, highly recommend to try it a couple other times, give it a chance, work with it, learn how the system works before passing too harsh of a judgment.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Here's another question.
Tyler, I appreciate your comments. You do seem to know about these systems. Why you're an engineering technician from the city of Camarillo.
Yes.
To me, that offers a bit of hope but you're not part of the Roadrunner shuttle system.
So the city of Camarillo, I manage the contract with Roadrunner. We're a contract city, and as a contract city, we contract our services out for operations and maintenance. So Roadrunner operates and maintains it, but we manage it.
Excellent. You have been on board with that position for how many months now?
For 3 years.
3 years.
For 3 years, and I've been with the city for a total of 10 years.
Okay, because I have gotten the runaround. I've been riding the fixed route shuttle for 12 years. And in the last 2 years, I retired, so I have given away my car because I want to do the small footprint on the earth. And I'm perfectly capable of walking and taking a bike and riding buses, getting on and off. So I'm more capable than a lot of seniors. But the fixed route bus would increase in ridership, and we would be able to get more consistently, what shall I say, we would be able to get a more efficient system of getting people around in Camarillo if we could get two things happening. The bus stops are not exactly where the benches and the signs are. The signs and the bus stops, as pictured on the the brochure, which is several years old, don't coordinate with the operational bus stops. So what we have is a problem for people who occasionally or first time or second time users use it. They become very frustrated. They say this will never work because the bus they went sailing by when it should have been there. The dial-a-ride is not marked separately from the fixed route, so people look at the dial-a-ride sailing by and think that the bus is gone. The dial-a-ride is very effective. The fixed route is very effective. We have great drivers, but you have to learn how to use it. And I have learned that at the high time when you're coming out of your doctor's appointments near St. John's, or going to lunch from somewhere, or going to pick up the free produce day at the Camarillo Health District, at noon, when the sun is overhead, there's no shelter, there's no consistent bus stop. The buses are, they're manned by people who are doing the lunch coverage. They all do different things, and it doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. A fixed route is supposed to go in a fixed schedule and have fixed stops that everybody, not only just the people who know how to use it, but other people should know that that's where the bus stops. They should also know that the bus doesn't stop at that bench down the way or across the street or where the kiosk is or where the sign is. They should also know that the sign does not reflect the times a bus stops there. It reflects something entirely different. And I've talked to Leisure Village, I've talked to people in the city of Camarillo, I've talked to Roadrunner, I've talked to Fifth Route, and everybody passes the buck. So what we have here is a system where taxes pay for many things in jobs, but the rest of the city people need to coordinate with the fixed route bus, with the senior system to help us make it more effective. It is a simple thing to change the signs. It is a simple thing not to put a little pasted paper over it with a piece of tape, but to change the sign, to change the bench, to move the bench, to move the sign, to reprint the paper. These are things that all take many people to do, and nobody is willing to sit there and push people to get it done.
I appreciate the comments, and to address some of those issues, one of the things I'm currently working on is a new brochure that is easier to read and has the locations. I'm working with Roadrunner to make sure that some of the drivers have gotten comfortable with their routes and have adjusted it themselves, and that's wrong. We need the drivers to go exactly where the route is supposed to be. I agree. There's been a lot of confusion over that in the last couple of years, and we're working to fix that because I agree with everything you said. It's not running as effectively as it can, and that's one of my highest priority goals right now is to fix the brochure and get that running more effectively. But it's the first time I've actually heard complaints of them not going to the actual benches.
Well,
so
people who run and manage the systems ought to take the bus once in a while and you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do use the system.
No, it isn't driver error.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is a situation, and Tyler, you've got some problems that you'll have to address. So we're going on to the next question and see what that is.
Hi, everybody. This is a little different related question, but since you're all in the transportation game, I thought I'd ask all of you if you know if there's anything in the works or in the horizon to get like a metro line into Ventura County, like they have the orange line in the valley and the red line that goes downtown. If there's anything in the works to get a line out here in Ventura County so we can connect with all the other lines. Thank you.
Oh, good question. Good question. Who can answer that one?
I can certainly try.
Okay. We'll give you-
At the moment, the short answer is no, in terms of a metro bus line or a metro line to come into. You're talking about Camarillo specifically, or
Camarillo or Ventura County? Ventura County, I
there
think.
are some connections over further into East County in Thousand Oaks and in Simi Valley, but one of the limiting factors for that on a funding issue is, those of you probably in the room remember recently there was a sales tax measure here for Ventura County, Measure AA, which required a 2/3 supermajority vote. And Ventura County is still one of the only, actually the largest urbanized county in California that does not have what they call a self-help transportation sales tax. Virtually all the counties around us have one. Los Angeles has 2 or 3. Santa Barbara County has one. Orange County. So I think that's been a limiting factor in terms of connecting to some of the other larger transit systems, especially to our south. However, we do have, as I mentioned, the 101, the Vista 101 Conejo Connection services, which do go into LA County, and then the Coastal Express that goes into Santa Barbara County, and the Metrolink service, separate system, but the Metrolink service, for those of you who've taken it, goes into Union Station, but the Metrolink system goes throughout Los Angeles County, Orange County, Riverside County, and San Bernardino County. So, and there are transit connections and other connections to each of those stops. There's a great Metrolink station in Camarillo, which is also the location of our VCTC intercity buses, as well as the Camarillo transit service. But hopefully, in the future, we can work to have more connections with Metro, because they do have a lot of funding right now, and they're building a lot of new services, especially new rail lines that some of you may have taken. Or
You're forgetting about all of us out here.
well, because it's a separate county, it's that funding that's generated there stays within Los Angeles County, and if we had a local measure, it would stay within Ventura County.
Jason, a question I got asked at the lobby. The Veterans Administration Clinic and transportation, I recognize that's not a VC AAA function, but do you have some information about where you would refer somebody to get more information about transportation available through the VA?
Unfortunately, I don't have information on how to get that transportation. However, if they contacted the VA, I'm sure maybe they would have, the contact.
Hi. Unfortunately, this is going to go back to the issue that we were talking about a moment ago. It isn't just not getting to the buses, the benches. The operators on the phone actually give wrong instructions. I have been told to meet a trolley in a general area, can't see the sign, wasn't told there was a bench, etc. Literally, turning around to ask directions of someone I saw nearby caused me to turn my back on the trolley that just rolled right on by and passed me by a block. So on the telephone, some of those people need to be updated on what's accurate also.
Thank you for that feedback, and that's something I can work with Roadrunner to get better.
Tyler, can I just say?
Yeah.
Somebody here, a participant, told me that it's a rider error. Please do not chastise the bus drivers, because it is not a rider error. It is not a bus driver error. The whole thing with the stops and the schedules.
I understand, and I'm in constant communication with them to try and rectify that and get that more per the. Yeah.
Well, as you can see, seniors do have many questions about transportation, and as we know, it's not going to get easier for us. I know driverless cars are coming, but many of us can't afford driverless cars, and But the things that I think Jay and I have heard continuously has been the connections. Please look at making those a little bit easier for the seniors. As I said before, many of them can't even get up on some of the buses if they're going to try public transportation. But you have a tremendous amount of brochures out in the lobby. They have all the good information that you've talked about. And I would ask everyone to make sure you've collected those particular ones, because there are some good numbers on them. And make sure you talk to Amber here, who is our Uber person, and see how she can help you, because this is a breakthrough with VC AAA on how to use Uber, and this might need some of your needs as well. So if there's no further questions,
We want to remind everybody to fill out the attendee feedback form. We use that to help us improve our presentations and to select topics for future presentations.
and thank you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. There's always something new.
They will come up, dais, and come back, stand behind the table.
Yes.
You can approach them.
I'm sure you'll have plenty of people talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all attention.
Yes.
They are. Yeah, so you're.